your favourite character that you played so far?
Favourite character? Now that's a question I get asked quite a lot, and it's difficult to answer because the kind of all the characters I play, I sort of put a little piece of myself into, so I'm kind of fond of them all, you know, from Wicket to Willow to even the Leprechaun, for example. There's a little piece of me that starts there, and you build upon that to create the character. So I'm quite fond of all of them. I don't think there's any I don't like. I mean, playing Marvin in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was probably the toughest role I've ever done, because the costume was so heavy. For those of you who haven't seen it, Marvin is an android and he's got this huge round head, and the costume was made of fiberglass, which in itself is not too heavy, but then you add to that a big battery pack, lights, I had 2 video monitors inside so I could see where I was going, and cameras, transmitters, receivers, all sorts of other things. The whole thing weighed over 4.5 stone, and I only weigh 6 stone myself, so I'm sort of nearly doubling my body weight. And then trying to walk around and say dialogue and not fall over and see where you're going and all of these things, it becomes quite a difficult task. And so I must say that's the hardest part and my least favourite. But I couldn't say what my favourite was, I'm afraid. Thank you for your question. Hello over here.
When you were doing like Marvin,
yes.
Did you kind of feel a bit depressed because of how we had to act all the time? Did it ever rub off on you when you had to go home?
Yeah, good question. I mean, when I started working in the suit, we had a few weeks rehearsal. Yeah, I said it's very hard to get this character through this. You know, I thought it would be quite easy just to kind of act kind of depressed. But what I found is I really had to get into the mind of the character and to kind of look at everything as he would and kind of be very fed up with everything. But once I started to think that way, the robot from the outside, the costume, it started to look right, started to feel, you could sense this character was depressed and fed up. So it's a lot more of an acting role than I ever thought it was going to be. I thought it would be more of a sort of puppeteering kind of role. So it was an interesting experience from the performance side, but just physically, just a bit too demanding. Yes?
Why have you dyed your hair?
Yes. Said with feeling. I explained at the beginning, I've just been working on a series called M.I. High, a children's BBC series, and I have to play a villain from Eastern Europe, and my hair was kind of all spiked up, a bit like sort of Dolph Lundgren in Rocky IV, so I kind of look like that. You'll have to wait till I think about January, February next year to see that, but yes, that's why. So my apologies for any offence caused by it, but in a few months I should be back to normal again. See, I do suffer for my art, don't I? Thank you. Thanks for your question. Good one. Anyone got anything else to say? Yes, over here. Keeping you on your toes there with the microphone.
Do you remember what it was like actually playing in New York? What was going through your mind at the time? Being 11 years old and such.
Yeah, I mean, being 11 on a film set, some of you here are 11 or roundabouts and can remember being 11. Can you imagine being placed in the middle of a Star Wars set, surrounded by your heroes? So instead of seeing Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, I saw them as Princess Leia, you know, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker. That was who they were to me. I was completely enthralled by that. They were all fantastic to me as well. Mark Hamill, I do remember him particularly saying, Warwick, do you have Star Wars toys? And, you know, I'm a big fan of Star Wars at that point, and did have a small collection of figures, etc. And he said, well, what haven't you got? What toys don't you have? He said, write them down. And rather embarrassingly, I kind of filled about 3 A4 sheets of toys and gave him the stuff. I said, well, that's what I haven't got. And he was like, whoa. And the next day he came in with a huge box of all this stuff and said, there you go. Which was fantastic to me as an 11-year-old. It was like, whoa, this is freaking me out. Carrie Fisher, she was always very worried about me in the costume, because we worked closely together in America in the scenes where Princess Leia is found by Wicket. And she was worried about me overheating, so every time we took the head off, she'd be standing there with chocolate milk and a cookie to try and sort of revive me. So they were all very caring, and I had the most wonderful experience on the movie. And you know, today I think that film has still had the biggest impact on my career, because everybody knows Star Wars, and if you've got a Star Wars movie on your list of film credits, it really does help when a potential director or producer is looking through, because a lot of the times Star Wars is what got them into filmmaking in the first place. So you know, you've often formed part of their childhood growing up, so it puts you in good stead for the rest of your career. It's great. Thank you. Excellent question there. I'm just going to keep talking till somebody drags me off this stage here, because I know you're all getting ready for the costume contest. Is that what I call it?
Masquerade.
What did you call it? What?
Masquerade.
Masquerade. I'm sorry, masquerade. Who's entering the masquerade here? Yes, already there. The ninja. The deranged ninja, should I say. And the lady that likes to be cuddled and jumped on over there. Excellent. So you're all ready to enter. That's fantastic. Who's judging it? Some sort of expert?
Usually get celebrities, don't they?
What? I don't think I am. I don't like doing that sort of thing. Well, because it's scary. You have to pick somebody, and you want to pick everyone, and you feel sorry for people, and it's awful. It's a horrible job to have to do. It really is. So, well, I hope you've all enjoyed yourselves here this afternoon. I've certainly enjoyed myself being here today and seeing all of you and meeting you. Thanks for great questions, and see you in the next one. Don't forget, Channel 4 at 9 PM tomorrow, bring back Star Wars. Thank you very much indeed. Take care. Bye-bye.